So the iPhone 8 is the oldest iPhone that will receive iOS 16, and in this video we're going to talk about how does it run. I've downloaded iOS 16 for my iPhone 8 and I'm going to show you exactly how it's running here on developer beta 1. Of course it will get better, but let's check it out, see how it does run. Okay, so let's begin with the boot up test. Now the iPhone 8 does feature the Apple A11 Bionic chipset. So they have the A12 Bionic, the A13 Bionic, 14 and 15. And if you notice something, Apple basically is only allowing iOS 16 on all the Bionic named chips. So starting with the A11 Bionic. So those of you can see that boot up was pretty quick here for iOS 16. Very nice for a, several year old phone now. This phone is all the way from back in 2017. So going on 5 years old already. That was pretty quick to turn on. You can see the all new lock screen there on iOS 16. Just swiping through the general home screen here. But before we do that, you can see that's pretty smooth. Let's go ahead and take a look. Just confirm that we are running 16. Some people just gotta be certain that we're running it. You could see right there. But overall, just kind of generally cruising through the OS, kind of just generally going through the app library, stuff like that. It doesn't feel too bad, kind of not a big deal here when it comes to just the overall swiping. So pretty good here on the home screens. You wouldn't expect it to be too much different, as it is, pretty similar to the iOS 15 in terms of general core features. So not surprised there. I have found in my testing yesterday, it's not doing it right now, but yesterday I found that when I did that, it was lagging up a little bit, but it seems the search is just fine right now overall. So not bad there whatsoever. So I would say generally, if you want to run this thing, just the general OS is just fine. Okay, so one of the most important things, so you can see the all new fitness feature automatically available for the iPhone on iOS 16. Even if you don't have an Apple Watch, you're going to be able to use this. Pretty cool. Now, if we go to settings, one of the most useful new features, and the one everyone's talking about, is the new lock screen wallpaper. So you could see a little bit slow right there, a little bit of a delay there. This is beta, of course, but let's see if it gives me any issues when adding these wallpapers, because there's a lot of them in here. And if it's going to be choppy, it's going to do it on one of the newest features here. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of the emoji wallpapers here. Let's hit the plus icon and you can see right here seems to be just fine. Let's add a few things in here and everything seems to do okay here when adding widgets across there. So quite nice. Now let's go ahead and see if we can get any delays here on the fonts. Pretty good. So it looks to me like, this is an area where like the newer features where usually it would see a lag. Looks to me it would be just fine here. Let's hit done and see if it actually sets it. It did set that wallpaper. Let's go over here, do some configurations. So just your general, feature here, the newer lock screen wallpaper should be fine here. So you're not gonna lag up on one of the coolest new features to try out here on iOS 16. The battery has been dropping pretty quick on this and it already feels warm. Like the phone, I can't really describe it because it's just the way it feels, but it feels very warm right now. And I just turned it on just a couple minutes ago when we started this video. So yeah, it definitely gets quite warm with this current beta. And what about 3D touch here? Does it work? And it works fantastic. So you're not going to have no major issues in the area of 3D touch. That also still works very good here for the iPhone 8. And you don't really get that on the newer iPhone. So that actually feels faster. It's so funny. This phone's 5 years old and the actual haptic press, which is through a 3D touch, actually feels better. Now, if you didn't know something about iOS 16, they actually do have keyboard haptics now in sound. So in the sound area. So if we go to sound and haptics, let's go to sound and haptics right here. If we scroll down, you'll see there is keyboard feedback for the haptics. So that also works and it might even feel quite good. Let's go ahead and try that out. And actually it doesn't feel that sturdy. It actually doesn't have a really strong haptics in here. I tried it on the 12 Pro Max, which actually had much better haptics, but it still works nonetheless. All right, so let's see if we can add widgets without any issues here on the iPhone 8. And you can see looks pretty good here. Swiping through, this was already available for the iPhone 8 before, so I wouldn't expect it to give us much of an issue there. And yeah, that looks pretty fine to me. Generally, I've noticed that if you're running a lot of stuff though, it starts to bog down a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at some applications here and kind of see if we can get it to bog down. So let's go to Instagram, and that wasn't a misfire, that was just me missing the tap like a bozo. So let me go ahead and go through these right here. And you could see applications are loading a little bit slower than a newer phone, but if you haven't used a newer smartphone, you probably wouldn't even notice this thing. So definitely pretty good there. Let's go to news. Extreme heat records in California. It's reloading the news because I was already in there. But you can see overall, you can see there's a little bit of a delay when it comes to, you know, those apps opening. So I would say that the official versions of iOS 15 definitely run a little bit better for sure. But does it run well enough to recommend it as a daily? I would say no, mostly because of the battery drain that's happening. But in terms of the actual performance, yeah, it's okay. You can try it out. It's not gonna like, it's not gonna ruin your life. But I would say if you're looking for something a little bit more stable, you probably should wait for a few more updates because it's a little bit choppy here. And again, man, I'm feeling that heat on the back of this device. Right up here specifically in this area, really warm on the iPhone 8. So I can see just general app performance going through these applications. I could already tell this phone would lose badly in a speed test versus a competing, you know, current iPhone or something like that. It would lose very badly. So yeah, the iPhone 8 is actually getting quite slow by comparison. If you want something like this again, consider upgrading to the iPhone SE. It's not that much more to pick that up and you'll get much better performance than this one. But overall, generally the apps do open, but they're starting to look a little bit dated with the speed. So yeah, a little bit slow, I'd say overall. We can go back through them and see if we get any reloads. Usually Apple has that screenshot in the background, so it looks like it's open, but see, it's kind of still taking a while there. Go to App Store. And this could kind of give you an idea of the 8 Plus. If you want to see the 8 Plus specifically, how does it run in this series, let me know. I consider making that one as well. I wanted to just cover some of these older iPhones on iOS 16. And of course, this is not officially, you know, how it's going to perform. I will consider recovering these when the official does launch. So let me know if you like these type of videos. But overall, I want to give you this video because a lot of people ask, should I try the beta? Should I run it now? Because a lot of people just don't want to wait. They want to try the public beta when it launches and they want to just see what they're going to be working with. So far, and you don't usually see those performance upgrades until later in the beta stages. So far, I would say pretty choppy on the app opening and reloading. So let's see if the camera fires off nicely, and not bad. Do we have any delays with going through camera? Any lockups? No, seems pretty good. A little bit slow to open those lenses, but not bad overall. Let's go ahead and go to the lock screen here and try to open the camera there. Pretty good, a very important feature. You're gonna be running beta, you still wanna take your pictures. Pretty good. So camera, no issues with that. That's pretty good so far. Now, last thing, we could just take a look at Touch ID. I actually did see it lock up on the lock screen a couple times, but this is a rare occasion, so it's not enough for me to say don't try it out. I just can't recommend it. It's just too warm. It's draining battery very fast. I can't recommend this iOS 16 on this iPhone 8 if you're going to be running it as your daily. Some people are going to say, look, I'm running it already, Nick, bro. You're late on their iPhone 8. But those people are not the average consumer who have all their data, all their day-to-day tasks on their phone. Okay, so the final scores are in 895 on the single, 1354 on the multi-core. That is a little bit lower than your average iPhone 8. Like I said, I've noticed a little performance decrease, and you could see it here in Geekbench as well. On the multi-core score, a pretty significant drop off from the average 1777. So definitely you will experience a performance decrease if you do decide to download this beta on the iPhone 8. Overall, do I recommend downloading it for a day-to-day driver right now? Absolutely not. If you want to see iPhone 8 Plus, let me know down below. But I can tell you right now, if it's a backup phone, you want to play with iOS on the side, it's not your main device, yeah, go ahead, try it out. It's not going to be a big deal. Make sure you do backups to keep your data safe. And that's all for the iPhone 8. Let me know if you want to see more iPhones in this How Does It Run series. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.